Now, please welcome to the stage Jean-Marc Bellaiche, CEO of Groupe Printemps.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here and to share a bit of what we've done at Printemps. I've been named CEO of Printemps 2.5 years ago, right in the middle of COVID, and we've made a lot of transformation. I'll talk a little bit about what we've done in retail, but I know the interest in the room is mostly towards digital, so I'll spend more time on what we've done with digital. Before that, quick introduction on myself. Not that I like especially to talk about myself, but there is one point that is important. I know both corporates. I worked 20 plus years with BCG. I was a senior partner in charge of luxury fashion retail globally in Paris and in New York. I was also a senior vice president at Tiffany for 4 years. But I also know the world of digital and the world of startup. I spent 2 years with this French scale-up Canton Square. I joined them when there were 250 people. At the time, they had 2 rounds of 20 million and 40 million. And we moved from 250 people to 1,000 people. And we raised together 60 million, 200 million, 500 million. And then I left and they raised 600 million. So probably they didn't need me that much. And then I joined Printemps, as I said, in October 2020. One word about Printemps. Department store chain in France and in Doha, and soon in New York. We have 20 stores. We have 10,000 people that come at work at Printemps every day. And we also have, as part of the group, 3 other banners. Citadium, which I would describe as the department store of Gen Z. It's Urban Outfitter meets Kiss somehow. Place des Tendances, which is a pure player fashion retailer online. And then Made in Design, which is also a pure player based in France and offering home and decor and furniture. So as I told you, I joined in October 2020, right in the middle of COVID. And there were 2 big issues that I needed to tackle. The first one was the world of department stores was heavily challenged, and it was already known that the challenge will continue because department stores in France in particular views that tourism will pick up slowly. So I had to fix retail, I had to reinvent the brand. I also had to find ways to differentiate further from our competitors because the Paris marketplace is quite strong in terms of department store. And then the second big challenge for us was e-commerce. Printemps was very late to the game of e-commerce. They launched their first merchant website in March 2020, so just a few days before COVID. So 20 years after the start of e-commerce and probably 12, 15 years after any competitor. So quite late to the game. And so what we've done, the first thing we've done, and this is true for retail, but this is also true for e-commerce and omnichannel, was to find ways to further differentiate and stand out much more as Printemps compared to competition. And we attacked that with the brand. So this is the brand I found when I arrived. You can see there was no color. I think this strong pink was the historical color for the last couple of years. But there was also a gray shopping bag. And the .com that they launched, as I said, in March 2020, was all fluo green, like this very bright green. So the brand was a little bit spread. And you couldn't say, what is the color of Printemps? How do you recognize it in the street? So we did quite a lot of work, and we came up with new color codes. Green became quite obvious with touch of gold. Gold is important for us because we are a luxury department store. We are the only commercial building in the world with gold domes. So the architecture is really splendid. and to have the combination of gold, which is the symbol of luxury, and green, which is the symbol of life, the symbol of nature, felt very strong. And this green in particular felt strong. And of course, we deployed it 360.com, shopping bag, signage in the store, etc., etc. We also changed our marketing campaign for something much more in the now and in the store as well. So we try to shoot in the store as much as possible because the store is a big asset for us. It's a beautiful store, and we want our model and our advertising to really connect our client with the store and to have models that are also much more in movement. So that was on the brand side. On the retail side, to really further differentiate, we decided to come with new, unique concepts. In fact, you have to give reason to the consumer, whether French or tourist, to come to Printemps because of the fear of missing out, the FOMO. I want the FOMO for all the tourists, all the French people to say, hey, I have to go to Printemps this week because something is happening. So we multiply the events. Every weekend there is something going on in every single store in France. One example of event that spoke to me, for example, we brought the worldwide champion of football, baby-foot, and we put her on the ground floor playing with our clients on the men shop, and she was taking the men one by one and scoring and scoring and scoring. And by the way, she was also pregnant, which I think added to the fun. And to me, this was even as Jean-Marc as a client, I was so excited that she was coming. I was so excited that I was going to play. So I talked about it beforehand. I talked about it afterhand. I'm still talking about it now. And this is what we want. We want to create memories. We want that every single client that comes at Printemps talks about it in the evening, at dinner or during appetizer with friends. So event is a big part of what we've done. And then coming with unique concept and unique space that you cannot miss is also part of the game. And in retail, we did this, for example. This is on the 7th floor of the main flagship. This is a beautiful area. It was close to public before I joined. And because it's on the 7th floor, the name came very naturally. In French, we called it Septième Ciel, which is 7th heaven. So we bring our clients to the 7th heaven. No sex here, just retail. And we decided not only to make it very raw. So I don't know, you cannot see the picture, but there are some stains of paintings and it's very raw. But at the same time, we had artists that came in to occupy the space. So we have this beautiful dome made by Charles Cazin. It's made of 12,000 origamis. And we dedicate this space to circularity, second-hand, products that are recycled or upcycled. This is only what you can find in this space. And this is the biggest space dedicated to circularity in Europe. And we multiply this type of concept all over our stores. So those little names that you see are unique to Printemps and reasons to come to Printemps. They are either shop-in-shop or call it concept store within the big store. So we take a theme and we say, okay, let's go heavy on it. For example, last week or 2 weeks ago, we opened Le Patio. The patio is basically for a woman that is, likes big dress with prints, and we put those type of dresses with made by small brands. We put books, we put candles. So it's like a concept store mixing categories and targeting a specific woman. And we've done a lot of that. We've done also a lot of food. As we speak, we have 1,000 seats in restaurants and cafes at Printemps, of which 430 are on terraces with views on Eiffel Tower, Opera, or Sacré-Cœur. So this is a snapshot on what we've done in retail. But as I said, I want to focus more on digital. On digital, it was clear that to win, we had to play the omni-channel card, because to compete against the Net-a-Porter of this world or the Farfetch of this world, given that they're a $1 billion plus company and you start from scratch, it's impossible. So we came with two very simple ideas to translate omni-channel, because omni-channel is a word that is very much used, but I'm going to tell you how we treat it at Printemps. The first thing, very basic, we put e-commerce in our store. When I was at Tiffany And I think most retailers, they have much more traffic on their website than in their store. Because to go to the store, you have to take your car, you have to drive, you have to park. It's complicated. To go on the .com, you just click and you go. Printemps, it's the opposite. We have more than 50 million annual visitors in our store. And when I came in, we had less than 5 million in the .com because it was just a baby. So it's a big opportunity to build on our traffic in store to make it also an e-commerce traffic. The first thing we started to do was with the offer. And here you see a picture of our warehouse because when I came in, the stock were separated. There were specific buyers, specific stocks for .com and specific offer for .com separated from the store. And of course, it cannot work with omnichannel. So we brought all the stocks into one place, into our retail warehouse. And now we have joint stock. We don't buy specifically for e-commerce. We buy for e-commerce, but it sits with store stocks. And so if e-commerce is performing, we can take on the inventory dedicated to retail. We pushed click and collect a lot. We even have machines that can prepare orders in the store. So that's a big channel for us. And now I would say roughly one order out of 6, one order out of 5, depending on the months, is done through click and collect, which for us is also a way for the consumer to come to the store, to visit the store, to be aware that next Saturday, for example, the worldwide champion of football will be in town. Another thing we did is we pushed products that you can find online and not in specific store. So here you have the example of a very famous and hot French brand called Jacquemus, that I'm sure all of you know. This is a store in Rouen, let's say. We don't carry Jacquemus in Rouen, but we have customers that would love to buy the Jacquemus product. So we put those little tags, little labels with a QR code inviting the client to shop online. And we've multiplied the presence of QR code all over the store for events, for promotion, so that our consumer gets used to go on the .com. And I know QR codes sometimes are too much used, but I think in that case, because we have so much traffic in our store and not enough in the .com, it's a very good way to leverage this traffic. We also introduced new metrics. Of course, we track the number of brands that we have on .com, so we multiply by 2.5 the number of brands since I joined. We track traffic. I told you we were roughly at 5 million when I joined. Now it's 17 million, so it's progressing nicely. We track sales, but we also track omnichannel clients that are shopping in multiple channels. And we track sales from e-commerce sales coming from people recruited in the store. And we track the reverse, which is very interesting. Retail sales, physical sales from clients recruited .com. And what's interesting is that if you consider then the P&L of .com, not only as a standalone, but also with those clients that were recruited through the .com channel, it improves the economics quite a bit, and it gives you more appetite to invest. So that was the first lever. The second lever, we brought the store into the .com, and that's probably a bit more original. As I said, our stores are beautiful all over France, in Doha as well, and the New York one will be even more amazing. And we need to make sure that our clients feel that it's not a pure player when they're on printemps.com and that there is a store behind it. So we did a couple of things. First of all, we did 3D immersive video. So what you see here are videos that have been done in our stores, and either with your mobile or on desktop with your mouse, they are immersive video where you can move, and of course, it's a video, so it's already filmed, but you move with the person that filmed, but you can still see different angles, etc., etc. And we are testing whether we could film more of these, and even some concepts, those little concepts that I showed earlier, how we could do video of that and maybe shopping video as well. The other thing that we did, we were the first in France to create a virtual store. So I told my team we missed Web 1, obviously. We were okay, but late to Web 2. I didn't want to miss Web 3. In fact, I wanted to be the first on Web 3. So what you see here was our virtual store, shopping, so you could buy, of course. And what we did as well is, so we replicate the Printemps Haussmann flagship, magnify, as a garden. And of course, this is something that a pure player cannot do because they don't have assets like our stores to magnify. And we pushed a little bit the needle because we also went into the NFT territory. We were the first to offer, and I say offer because we didn't sell the NFT, but for the 30 clients that were selected, clients that bought on the virtual store, they were picked to win an NFT done by Romain Froquet, which is an artist we've worked with. And you can see, an example of an NFT. So we had clients, one client that is 65, that was selected and she won. And she opened a wallet with us. And now she holds this NFT. And for us, it's a new channel to see whether we can communicate through those 30 clients through the wallets. So that's a test. We didn't sell it because we felt we don't have the right audience to monetize, but we felt giving it free was a good way to educate our clients and also to test for us this wallet as a new way to communicate. We also did a small attempt to tackle the digital fashion business. So here you can see some pictures of digital fashion that you can wear on Instagram, for example. The second key point is we pushed one unique thing that belongs to the store, which is the personal shoppers. Personal shoppers are really a weapon of multi-brand because as a mono brand, you cannot offer personal shopping. You're not going to be dressed into one brand. Multi-brand is very powerful. And what we did is we created a digital wall with all of personal shoppers, not all of them actually, but 50 of the 100 that we have. And when you click, you can take an appointment, you can see what they like, you can see a selection of product, and we feel it's a new way of shopping that is very interesting. We generated 5,000 rendezvous meetings in store thanks to this channel. So that's also, by the way, an omnichannel metric that we track. We even started to work with external influencers. So here you see Julien Isnardon is a French influencer, and we opened his own page with a product selection. And as you can see, the engagement was very strong, and he brought new clients to us. The last thing that we did was to accelerate on live shopping. We have a program of live shopping every 2 weeks, every other Wednesday at 6:30, half an hour live shopping, where our personal shoppers are put live and they talk about fashion, they propose some looks. And initially it was difficult business because it's very expensive to do an episode and you don't get traffic for the first one, obviously. And little by little, we were able to refine the model and the cost base and be very efficient with it. And we were able to get, of course, more traffic and more sales. And now it's a very nice channel. And we also open in our store a studio because we feel that Printemps can also become a media. So we have podcast capabilities, recording capabilities, and more brands now are following us. So we did a live shopping episode with Moncler, we did one with Aigle, and we also do one to few, so not open to everyone, with brands like Van Cleef or Omega targeting specific clients. Last word, to do all this, I had to change the team and the culture. On my executive team of 9 people, we have actually 6 that are new to Printemps from the last 2 years. Only 3 were already at Printemps, and on the 3, 2 were promoted, so they were not part of the executive team. So it's a big change, and I try to bring a lot of digital expertise, people working at Sephora.com, L'Occitane.com, or Net-a-Porter, and also an ex-BCG to bring more innovation and transformation. Last word, I think there is one quote that I really like. You probably know it from Peter Drucker, HBS professor. He says, culture eats strategy at breakfast, which means basically you can be very smart with your strategy. If you don't have the right company culture, you will fail. And conversely, when you have a great culture of winning and with the right values, with an okay strategy, you can really strive. And when I came at Printemps, there were very strong values that I wanted to keep as part of the culture. Printemps is really a company very professional, very ethical, lots of high integrity, lots of respect, lots of candor. It feels good to work at Printemps. Strong fighting spirit because it's a very difficult business and you have to fight every day. And creativity. I think that was a value that I found when I arrived. And I needed to add more, and we went for more collaborative, more teaming, more entrepreneurial. I'm trying to really free the creativity and the innovation and to say take risk. Basically, I'm saying take risk, act as an independent entrepreneur and be bold and more ambitious. And this comes probably from my Canton Square years where I saw how a bunch of 30-year-old people can really strive just with the right culture and taking risk. Thank you very much.